Alright, we got another video. This one is the called 700 Marines mobilized. This one is called 700 Marines mobilized to Los Angeles after violent protest over immigration raids.
We do begin tonight with Los Angeles bracing tonight after sweeping immigration raids sparked protests and clashes tonight. A U.S. official now confirming to ABC News 700 Marines are now on their way to Los Angeles to join California's National Guard, which was deployed by the president, not that state's governor. Late this afternoon, a peaceful protest after the arrest of a union leader, but the city is bracing for nightfall. It was a far different scene over the weekend. Protesters setting up fireworks right there, police officers right nearby. A line of self-driving vehicles set on fire. Crowds shutting down the 101 freeway downtown. LAPD officers trying to move them off. The moment a U.S.-based correspondent from Australia reporting on the protests, you can see there she's hit by an officer's rubber bullet. President Trump going over the governor's head, sending the state's National Guard to the scene, and tonight he's now sending hundreds of these U.S. Marines. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Guppin, leading us off tonight on the scene in Los Angeles. Matt is one-on-one with Border Czar Tom Homan tonight.
Tonight, 700 Marines are on their way to the streets of Los Angeles to assist the National Guard and law enforcement tamp down violent clashes with protesters angry over the Trump administration's immigration policies and arrests. Over the past 72 hours, pockets of LA descending into chaos. Protesters setting cars on fire, dumping bikes and scooters on police cruisers on the highway. Law enforcement firing hundreds of flashbangs and non-lethal projectiles and making dozens of arrests. It got so heated in the streets that a British photographer needed emergency surgery after being struck by a non-lethal projectile.
Moving them on through the...
And there was this moment. Watch as a correspondent for 9 News Australia reporting on the protest when an officer hits her with a rubber pellet. And tonight, an escalating war of words between California Governor Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump. Newsom suing the president for creating the conditions for this chaos when he sidestepped California officials to deploy thousands of National Guard troops.
Are you going to deploy Marines in California?
We hope to have the support of Gavin because Gavin's the big beneficiary as we straighten out his problems. I mean, his state is a mess.
Newsom then slammed by Trump and Border Czar Tom Homan for his response to the unrest. Homan initially suggesting the governor should be arrested, something Trump seemed to support just hours ago.
I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He's done a terrible job.
Newsom responding again, calling that an unmistakable step toward authoritarianism. I asked Homan about that.
If Gavin Newsom crosses whatever threshold it is and violates the law, do you have the authority to arrest him or
if he broke the law like any other U.S. citizen, we'll ask the Attorney General to investigate and they'll prosecute. Tom Homan's not going to prosecute.
Spontaneous clashes began Friday as federal agents conducted multiple operations in and around Los Angeles. On Saturday, protests, mostly peaceful, grew larger when agents were seen staging in nearby Paramount, California. And by Sunday, a convoy of heavily armed and camouflaged troops arrived. We watched as the clashes intensified as the day progressed.
Just moments ago, there's some projectiles being thrown. Just moments ago, a motorcycle seemed to try to break through the police skirmish line. And now you can hear all those flashbangs going off. Police are trying to push those protesters back, firing those less than lethals at very close range. And you can see those projectiles being thrown over. Now that motorcycle is being hauled in here. Looks like he's being arrested.
LAPD's chief overnight saying they may need more help.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing.
And thousands today gathering peacefully, calling for the release of a prominent union leader arrested Friday during one of those workplace raids.
A lot of us are American citizens. So then what are we working for? What is the American dream? It doesn't even exist when you're picking people out of the street.
David, just want to give you a sense of where we are. This is the federal building in downtown Los Angeles, and there are probably a couple hundred peaceful protesters here outside. You can see that line of federal agents and California National Guard. Right now, everything is peaceful, but on the other side, there are probably about 100 LAPD in riot gear. Now, Tom Homan telling me that he supports additional troops in downtown Los Angeles, but a short time ago, Governor Gavin Newsom tweeting that the presence of active duty Marines here in Los Angeles is un-American. David.
Matt Guppin leading us off on a Monday night. Matt, thank you. We do begin tonight with Los Angeles.
All right, so a few things here. First of all, this is not a goddamn protest. This is a goddamn riot. They're goddamn rioting just like they did when George Floyd got killed. That they were not protesting. They were rioting. That's the first thing. Like, they're throwing fireworks and they're not walking around with signs saying we shall overcome. No, they're not doing that. They're not waving signs around saying that we shall overcome. They're going to overcome with fireworks, fire, setting fires on cars. Like, what does that do? What does setting fires on cars actually do? Like, that's not protesting at that point. That's rioting, because you're setting cars on fire, vandalizing property, destroying property, and I believe they were also tagging, like placing spray paint on cars and stuff like that. So, and they were setting self-drivable cars on fire for no reason. Like, why were they setting self-drivable cars? That has nothing to do with Elon. Like, I know they had that few where people were just ramming and vandalizing Teslas all over the road, but what is, like, the self-driving cars have to do with anything? Like, why are y'all setting fire to self-driving cars? And I seen on Twitter that they was, if you seen that, they shown it here, the clip of where they had the police cars under the underpass and they were throwing rocks, scooters, and stuff like that, and whatever they could find, and throwing it on like the police cars. What is that gonna do? Like, what is that really gonna do? First of all, what is that really gonna do? Because, like, when all this is over, when you have to go home, and if something was to happen, like if someone was to break into your house, how is the police gonna respond right away, if they can, and even at all? Like, if someone had an emergency, their emergency is overlooked by the fact that they have to send police out there to deal with rioters. And if you have seen it, like, California really doesn't care about people who steal. Like, you get a slap on the wrist if you steal. It's like, how is this a peaceful protest when y'all are burning cars, throwing rocks, scooters, and whatever the hell else on, like, who's going to clean this? City workers, right? City workers are going to clean this. Like, who's going to come together? Like, who's going to clean this? Volunteers? Like, who's going to clean the mess that the protesters leave behind? Spray painting and damaging business buildings? Like, who is that helping? And this is all triggered over the ICE arrests. And it's like, gang, at this point, bruh, why even protest? Just leave the country at that point. That's the way I'm thinking. Like, if you're just mad about everything, and I know the woman at the end said, what happened to the American dream? Honey, there's no such thing as the American dream, and there has never been any such thing as the American dream. The American dream is only real when you go to sleep. That's why it's called the American dream. You have to be asleep for it to come true. Because when you wake up, it ain't no dream. Waking up and going to a 9 to 5 with sometimes people who you don't like is not a dream. Like, that's not a dream. Like, people coming over here for a better life because they know that it's better to live over here than over there. It's better. It's not great. It's not awesome. It's just going to be better. But if you don't like the way things are done over here, there's no hassle to go back to where you came from. Dang, like protesting and throwing fireworks. Like, y'all are ruining your own city. Come on now, gang.
Now what you gonna say when it all comes back down? Girl, you're gonna love me.
I love you, Chief Rizzo.
What you gonna do when all your love hits the ground? You're gonna love me.
Shit, they didn't care about me no more. I took a few steps away, found me somebody else. But I was there when you needed me. She know I play, I don't know if she seeing me. At least I'm trying to still ain't give up, yeah. My anxiety gone.